Hello, it's Judith here with this week's video. And following on from last week, we're still talking about the topic of trying to shift our inner life and our outer life from the negative to the positive. Reminder that our brains are amazingly powerful, more powerful than we can possibly imagine, and we're not very good at pointing them in the right direction. And whether we're primarily negative or positive will have a huge impact on our lives. The cognitive behavioural model, simple version, is that what we're thinking affects how we're feeling affects our behaviour, and our behaviour then feeds into our thinking. So it's very easy to get into a negative spiral. Why does it always happen to me? Why are things always going wrong? And that can be on a life level or a day level, the days when, nothing seems to go right, or why is everything going wrong? And that makes you feel pretty miserable and fed up and depressed, angry, whatever. And that, of course, then feeds into your behaviour, and your behaviour then pushes your thinking even further, frequently, into a negative direction. So it's very easy to get into a downward spiral and quite quickly go down because of something that's happened to you or been said to you, or you just wake up feeling not a terribly happy person. So what we have to do, if we possibly can, is change our thinking from negative to positive. Now, there are a number of ways of doing this. I can help people do this in hypnotherapy. It can be a straightforward, mechanical almost process of writing down your negative thoughts for a couple of days and picking out the worst, or often there's a cluster of thoughts that are very similar, and consciously deciding what we'd prefer to think. So let's say I always think that I'm not very good at things, I'm not very clever or not very successful. And what would we rather be thinking? Well, actually, maybe you can't go to the extreme of, well, I'm amazing, I'm an amazing person 24/7, but I'm okay, I've done okay. Just shifting things in that more positive way. So, and then when you've chosen your alternative, more positive thought, every time you think the negative one, you try to switch out of it into the positive one. You won't catch them all, but the more you can do it, the more you will find your thinking becoming more positive. And if you've achieved it with one negative thought, you can move it on to others. So there's that approach. In NLP, we talk about reframing. So looking at a situation from a different point of view, as simple as that. So your point of view is negative, and how can you look at it in a different way, from a different perspective, so that it is less negative? What's the silver lining behind the cloud? Just trying to think of an example. I don't know, let's say you're running late for work, and you're stuck in traffic and you're getting angry and cross with yourself because you should have set off earlier because the traffic builds up, etc., etc., etc. Most of us been there. What could you think about instead? Well, you could think, I'm lucky to have a job to be going to. I'll just have to apologise and say the traffic was bad. I just left it a bit late, and you know, if necessary, make up the time or take some work home, or how, you know, rather than sinking into the negativity, think about a solution or a different way of thinking about things. Or you could just think, well, okay, I am stuck in traffic. I can choose to be getting angry or upset, or I can choose to switch the radio on and listen to the music that I enjoy, or in my case, you know, switch on the Audible book that I am currently listening to, and just be grateful for a few moments peace before the hurly-burly of the day starts. So be grateful for the traffic, you know, means I'm not at my desk yet, and I can, you know, enjoy this time that's been gifted to me, rather than allow my frustration to build, because that means you're then potentially in a negative spiral for the day. Whereas if you sit back and think, there is nothing I can do about this, I will have to apologize when I arrive late, but I have a choice, and we always do have a choice. I can choose to sit here and be miserable, or I can choose to take it as a little gift of time to enjoy in whatever way I can. Now, as I said last time, it sounds easy. It isn't always easy, but it is hugely important, and it can have a really, really big impact on a day, just doing something like that. So reframing means literally putting a new, you know, you've got a photograph and it's got a horrible mucky frame around it, you know, broken and chipped or whatever, and you take off that frame and you put a beautiful golden or silver frame around it, and all of a sudden the photograph looks a lot brighter, a lot more attractive. So make your thoughts brighter and more attractive, even in what is potentially a very negative triggering situation. So have a go at one of those two ways, the writing down your thoughts, thinking what you would prefer to think, what would make you happier if you thought in a different way, or at least move you slightly into a more positive suggestion, and then practice replacing the negative thought with a positive thought, or reframing, looking at things from a different perspective, saying, okay, this is a bad situation, how can I make it better? And please let me know how you get on if you try one of those, or if you would like a little bit more help and a little bit more discussion around it. I'd be very, very happy to talk to you, to help you to try and turn the negative into positive. Now, word of warning, we don't always do it, even if we know how to do it. I don't always do it. Sometimes I like a good wallow. That's all right, as long as you are aware that you're wallowing and you're going to only allow it to happen for a certain period of time. But if you're naturally going to go downhill because of what's happened, then you need to really be taking some action by thinking differently, so that you feel differently, so that your behaviour is different. So back to the car example, you know, I'm in this car, I'm angry, I'm frustrated, I am clenching the steering wheel, I'm maybe shouting the odd profanity, I don't know how you're doing it. Just by thinking about it differently, that will cause you to relax and feel differently. Your behaviour will change. You will relax your shoulders, relax your hands on the steering wheel, stop glaring at the person in the car next to you or behind you or whatever. And that will then feed into your thinking, and that will enable you to change the situation to a more positive one, even though it is potentially a really negative one. Okay, as I say, let me know if you try these. Get in touch if you would like some more help in changing your thinking so that you can change your life. basically. That's what it is. Changing your thinking can change your life in a positive, or if you neglect it, a negative way. Okay, that's me for this week. As always, have a good week. Take care of yourself. Try out one of those techniques if you possibly can, and if you feel you need to. Just see what happens. What have you got to lose? Let me know if you'd like to, and get in touch if you need to. And until next week, take care. Bye.